Good afternoon, everybody. A very good afternoon to all of you. Just let me know quickly if I am properly visible and audible to all of you so that we can start our today's lecture. Just let me know quickly if I am properly visible and audible. Just let me know quickly. Okay. Good afternoon, Jethalal. Good afternoon, Arya. Good afternoon, Durga Shri. Good afternoon, Ayush. Good afternoon, people. Okay. So, as you all know that today we are going to study our insolvency chapter, and basically we'll start this and we'll do the 75% of this chapter today. And I want to clarify you one thing, that there are certain amendments in this chapter, like a very small in the PPIRP, and there was an introduction of fast track process. And as you all know that if you have studied from the old module, if you are someone who has not taken my class, if you are someone who has studied from the old module, then it will be amendment for you. However, if you are a Yesha student, if you have studied from me, I have already informed you that we have studied amended. So in our regular class, we have covered all the amendments. We have covered whole PPIRP, whole regulations. We have covered whole fast track process. So if you have studied from me, you don't have to worry about the amendments, because we have covered all the amendments in the class itself. However, I will repeat all of this in this revision class also in the best possible manner, in the shortest time, so that you will be able to revise with those concepts properly. Okay, so just let me know how's the Josh, and give me a big fat thumbs up in the chat box if you are good to start with our today's lecture. Today we have to do CIRP properly, full and final, complete. So just let me know how's the Josh. Give me a big fat thumbs up in the chat box. Good evening. Okay, so since the last 2 days I was not able to take my classes because my pencil was not working, and today I got my pencil replaced. So today I got my new Apple pencil. So finally I am thankful that I can take your classes now. Okay, so everybody's Jose is high. Okay, great. A lot of people have given a thumbs up. Great. So let's start our today's revision lecture, which is basically your part C. Part C is very important from your examination point of view. CIRP, liquidation and winding up. Okay. So first of all, I want to tell you, what do you mean by insolvency? What do you mean by bankruptcy? And what do you mean by liquidation? What is the difference between two terms? See, वैसे तो basically insolvency and bankruptcy are one and the same. Insolvency and bankruptcy are similar, but there's one point, that your inability to pay your debts. Like, I am the person, all my debts are more than my assets. So even after selling all my asset, I am not able to pay my liabilities. So then I will be called as insolvent. So it's simply my situation, my situation where I am not able to pay the debt. However, when this situation is officially declared by the court that yeah, this person is gone, this person is insolvent, then I become bankrupt when I'm finally declared as a bankrupt by the court. So it's simply insolvency is my situation. However, when it is officially declared by the court, it is known as bankruptcy. This is the one major difference between insolvency and bankruptcy. Next is, we use the word bankrupt only for individuals and not for companies. However, the word insolvency is used for both companies as well as individuals. So here one point is given, that let's say there is an individual person, natural person, or a company. If they are not able to pay their liabilities, debts, then both will be called as insolvent. However, when you are not able to pay your creditors, then your creditors file a case in the court, and then court declared you as a bankrupt. So if you're an individual, then after the court declaration you become bankrupt. However, if you're a company, and you become insolvent, then the creditors will file a case against you and the court will order winding up of the company. Winding up means closure of the company. So insolvency is a common term which is used for both individual as well as companies. However, bankrupt is a term which is used only for individuals, and winding up is the term which is used for companies. So here one point is given that insolvency is simply a situation where you are not able to pay your debts. In case of individual, insolvency leads to bankruptcy. However, in case of company, insolvency leads to winding up or liquidation, right? However, bankruptcy, I have already told you that when a court declared a person as insolvent, that final declaration of the court is known as bankruptcy. So these are the two major difference between insolvency, bankruptcy and liquidation. Insolvency, bankruptcy and liquidation. So as you all know, few basic things, that insolvency, bankruptcy code, this is known as code because this is consolidation of various laws, and several laws were repealed like SICA Act, etc. SICA Act, Provincial Insolvency Act, Presidency Towns Insolvency Act, and all these acts were consolidated together to form insolvency and bankruptcy code. So basically, first you have to learn the applicability which is given in section 2. Read this carefully. What is the applicability of insolvency and bankruptcy code which is given in basically section 2? IBC is applicable to companies also. IBC is applicable to LLPs also. IBC is applicable to any company governed by special act also. IBC is applicable to any other body which are made by the central government or where central government has notified, and even to the personal guarantor of corporate debtor, partnership firms or proprietorship firms, individuals other than person referred to in clause E. See here, I have already told you that earlier there was a separate law for insolvency of individual, insolvency of partnerships, insolvency of LLPs, insolvency of company. Now all the laws have been merged together. Now doesn't matter for insolvency of any type of person, be it natural person, be it partnership, be it LLP or be it company, everything is provided in this insolvency and bankruptcy code, IBC. So this IBC is applicable to all, like all, even for sole proprietorship, even for partnership, even for LLP, even for company, even for body corporate, like everybody is covered here, everybody. So this IBC is applicable to all. Now this IBC is divided into 5 parts, part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Part 1 talks about introduction, 2 about CIRP process, 3 about the procedure for CIRP of individual and partnership firm. Basically part 2 is for corporate insolvency, part 3 is for individual and partnership firm insolvency, part 4 is for the IPAs and IUs, and part 5 is for miscellaneous. And you don't have to study part 1, 3, 4, 5. We only have to study part 2 which is in our syllabus, Now you know what, this part 2 is further divided into 7 chapters. This part 2 is divided in 7 chapters. Chapter number 1 is preliminary. Chapter number 2 talks about CIRP process and there is a respective regulation, CIRP regulation. Chapter 3 talks about liquidation and there is a separate regulation, liquidation regulation. Chapter 3A, this is the amendment. However, we have covered the amendment in our regular class also. We will properly revise this also. PPIRP, chapter 3A was introduced last year in 2021, which talks about PPIRP, and along with that there is PPIRP regulation. This chapter 4, fast track CIRP along with fast track CIRP regulation, and chapter number 5, voluntary liquidation along with voluntary liquidation regulation. So we only have to study till chapter number 5. Chapter number 6 and chapter number 7 is not in your syllabus. So we just have to study basically these 5 chapters. We have to study these 5 chapters in our CIRP. Today we will try to cover CIRP, liquidation and fast track, and along with their respective regulations. So this 6 topics: CIRP along with CIRP regulation, liquidation along with liquidation regulation, fast track along with fast track regulation. Tomorrow we will cover our PPIRP along with PPIRP regulation and your voluntary liquidation. So this is how our process, our sequence of the chapter will go, right? Now coming towards the important definition. First I want to tell you, there are various government authorities to regulate IBC. Just like, as you all know, in order to regulate Companies Act, there is MCA, there is RD, there is ROC, right? They are the government authorities. Similarly, under IBC code, there are separate government authorities made. Number 1 is regulators, number 2 is adjudicating authority. When I talk about adjudicating authority, it means the one who listens, hear the cases and decide, give the judgment. So basically, if I talk about the adjudicating authority, always remember that for corporate insolvency, corporate means companies, LLP insolvency. For corporate insolvency, the adjudicating authority is always NCLT, our God NCLT. Whenever we have to do complaint, we go to NCLT. So for corporate person, for companies, LLP, body corporate, the adjudicating authority is NCLT. However, for individual or partnership firm, the adjudicating authority is not NCLT, it is DRT, which is Debt Recovery Tribunal. So when I talk about the insolvency of individuals or partnership firms, then the adjudicating authority is Debt Recovery Tribunal, which means who gives the judgment. Right, now talking about the regulator, basically there are 4 authorities. The first one authority is IBBI, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India. So IBBI makes various laws and regulate the whole insolvency process. Basically, just you know, SEBI is the regulator, central regulator of stock market. Similarly, IBBI is the central regulator of this insolvency process. So it is the regulatory body, and IBBI is delegated with the responsibility to make rules, regulations, laws with respect to insolvency. Next is IPA. IPAs are professional agencies who are registered with IBBI. Basically, there are 3 IPAs in our India, which is ICAI, ICSI, ICMAI. Our institute, ICSI, our CA Institute, ICAI, Cost Accountant Institute, ICMAI. They have registered themselves with IBBI as insolvency professional agencies. Now come IP, very important. Whole resolution process is carried by IP, insolvency professionals, and you know, this insolvency professionals are the member of IPA. This insolvency professional are the member of insolvency professional agencies. Member means basically we have to be either CA, CS, CMA, or we have to become a member of this IPA and we have to get registered with IBBI. So in order to become insolvency professional, if you want to become insolvency professional, there are certain eligibility criteria given which you have to comply. You have to become member of IPA and then you have to get registered with IBBI. Then you can become insolvency professional. So insolvency professional is registered with IBBI and member of IPA who carry out the insolvency and resolution process. Lastly, information utilities. Information utilities are nothing but they maintain all the data, like all the data about all the companies which have gone into insolvency. All that data is maintained by IU. Information utilities maintain all the registers, records, all the financial information with respect to insolvency. So these are the 4 government authority. Now, very important 3 terms we will learn. What do you mean by 3 terms are used basically here in this chapter? Number 1 is who is corporate debtor. Number 2 is who is financial creditor. And number 2, operational creditor. So basically, let's say this is a company, very short example, this is a company, this has taken 5,000 crore loan from SBI. So this company who have taken the loan, now it is not able to repay the debt. This company is known as corporate Corporate means in the form of body corporate, in the form of company. And debtor means who owes money. So this company who has taken loan, who has financial liability, this company is known as corporate debtor. And this person, SBI, who has given the loan, is known as basically financial creditor. Financial creditor. So you know the meaning of these two terms, corporate debtor and financial creditor. Secondly, let's say we have not taken loan, but we have taken goods on credit. Goods on credit from this particular seller. We have purchased goods from this seller, and we have purchased on credit, which means we have purchased goods and said that, bro, I don't have money right now, I'll pay you money after 3 months. So I have taken goods on credit. Udhar mein saman liya hai. I have taken goods on credit. Then this person who is giving me goods on credit is known as the operational creditor. So वैसे तो there is proper definition of FC and OC given. This is financial creditor is FC, operational creditor is OC. Proper definition is given, but broadly if I tell you, if we directly take financial loan from anybody, or there is a financial obligation, we take loan, that is then that person is known as financial creditor. However, if we are not directly taking the loan, we are buying goods on credit, then this person is known as operational creditor. So this is the broadly explanation of what do you mean by corporate debtor, financial creditor and operational creditor. Now if you'll come to the definition, what do you mean by corporate debtor? Corporate debtor means simply a person who owes a debt to any person. What do you mean by owes a debt to any person? I have already told you there is a liability in our head. Liability. We owe debt and we are not able to pay the debt. If we owe debt, we have taken loan, we owe debt, then this person is known as corporate debtor. However, he should be corporate person. By corporate person, I mean corporate person means he should be either in the form of company or in the form of LLP or any other body corporate. Company or LLP or any other body corporate, but does not include any financial service provider. Example, banks. So corporate debtor includes companies, includes LLPs, include any other body corporate, but does not include financial service provider. Example, banks. Why? Because for them separate act is made, like SARFAESI Act. You will study this. SARFAESI Act is a separate act made for banks and financial service provider. So that is why here this CIRP is applicable to this chapter 2 of CIRP is applicable to all the corporate person. Basically includes company, LLP or any other body corporate, but does not include financial service provider. And who can make application on behalf of corporate debtor? So corporate applicant can be anyone. What do you mean by corporate applicant? Corporate applicant means basically who makes application to the NCLT on behalf of the corporate debtor. So this corporate applicant include corporate debtor, a member or partner of corporate debtor, member in case of company, partner in case of LLP. Any individual who is in charge of the management and operation, and lastly any person who has control or supervision over the corporate debtor. So who can be corporate applicant? Applicant means simply who is making application to NCLT for the initiation of CIRP. It can be either corporate debtor himself or the member or partner of corporate debtor, or individual who is managing the operation of corporate debtor, or any person who is in control who has the control and supervision of the corporate debtor. With this, we are done with this. The very important definition is the definition of financial creditor. Who are financial creditor? I gave you an example, right? Who are financial creditor? Basically, the person to whom the company, the corporate debtor owes a financial debt. So here in this example, this company owes a financial debt to this person, then SBI will be called as financial creditor. And financial creditors and includes a person to whom such debt is assigned or transferred to. Let's say SBI have sold this loan to PNB. SBI has sold this loan to PNB. So now this 5,000 crore loan transferred to PNB. This PNB will also be considered as financial creditor. So financial creditor means a person to whom financial debt is owed and includes a person to whom such debt is transferred or assigned. Now, what do you mean by financial debt? This is the very important definition of this chapter. What do you mean by financial debt? See, basically, broadly, if I tell you, if I take loan on the promise of the payment of interest, that is obviously financial debt. I am directly taking loan, and obviously nobody will give loan in free. In return, I will pay the interest. So, any money borrowed against the payment of interest. That is what? Financial debt. However, certain other points are also included in the financial debt. Like if I am taking loan from the credit facility, you know, there is a facility of credit cards, debit card, where you can withdraw a lot of money. Credit card facility where you can withdraw the money from the bank even without having the balance in your bank account. So that is known as credit facility. So if you are withdrawing any money under the credit facility, then also you have liability now. That liability, that loan, that debt is also known as financial debt. Next is amount raised by issue of debentures, etc. Bonds, debenture, all these are debt instrument. So if you raise any long-term loan by issuing debentures, bonds, etc., that is also known as financial debt. Next is amount of the liability incurred on the hire purchase or lease agreement. So if you are incurring any liability under the hire purchase or lease agreement, that will also be considered as a financial debt. Any receivable sold on recourse basis. Receivable means your debtors, your BR, bills receivable. See, when you sell your bills receivable, you get it basically discounted from bank. In 11th, 12th also you must have studied the concept of discounting, where you sell your receivables to bank and bank charge some commission and pay you instant money. So in case of recourse basis, the risk is not transferred to the bank. Still risk is yours. So you sold your receivable to bank, and in case in future those receivables are not received, let's say the person defaulted in the payment of that receivable, in that case the liability will again come to you. So yes, whenever you sell your bills receivable or your any receivables on recourse basis, in that case the liability will come to you, and that debt, that financial debt will also be considered as a that debt will also be considered as a financial debt. And so basically I hope you are getting this point. Let me tell you with a small example, like very small example. This is you have to take some money, 5,000 crore from this person. He is the buyer and you have to take 5,000 crore. He has given you bills receivable and you sold this receivable to bank. You sold this receivable to bank. Now in recourse basis, the risk is not shifted. Risk is still with the seller. So however, if this buyer defaults in the payment of 5,000 crore, the bank will approach you and make you liable. So this liability is also known as financial debt. I hope this point is crystal clear to all of you. The next is amount raised under any instrument having the commercial effect of borrowing. There was a case law question in this in the recent exam, August 2021, that you are taking any loan or any amount you are owing in the form of debt, which is not exactly a loan, but which is have an effect of borrowing, which is not exactly borrowing, but it has a commercial effect of borrowing. Let me give you an example. Amount raised from an allottee under the real estate project. What do you mean by this? Even I can tell you very clearly that there are certain real estate dealers, or we can say they start a project. Let's say there are some real estate dealers who have started a project to build a society. So they have project of building a society, and let's say they are making 50 flats in this society and they are selling it to people. Right now the society is not built. This project has started, and you must have noticed in this, your neighbors or anybody, that this happens. People start real estate project and they just start making the society. Society is not yet made, flat is not yet made, but before making they start approaching people and they ask them, bro, you want to purchase this flat? Okay, give me money, give me advance money. If you want to purchase this flat, give me advance money now. I will deliver you the flat after 2 years. So let's say this one flat is of, let's say 5 lakhs. So this real estate project took 5 lakh deposit from this person, and this person is known as real estate allottee, to whom the flat is allotted under the real estate project. So this person is known as real estate allottee, and he has purchased the flat from this real estate project and paid 5 lakh in advance. However, the flat is not yet delivered. Why? Because the flat is under construction. The flat will be delivered after 2 years. So is this a loan? No, ma'am. This is not a loan. We are taking 5 lakh. for delivering flat, we are not taking 5 lakh loan, we are selling basically flat, but this has a commercial effect of borrowing. Why? Because right now I haven't delivered a flat, so until and unless we deliver flat, this 5 lakh is in the form of liability, because if we don't deliver flat, this 5 lakh we have to return. So that is why there is one point that this 5 lakh is not borrowing, but it has the commercial effect of borrowing. It is not borrowing, but it is in the nature of liability. If I don't deliver flat, then I have to return this 5 lakh, right? So until and unless I deliver the flat, till that time this 5 lakh will be considered as loan, and that real estate allottee will be considered as the financial creditor. That real estate allottee will be considered as the financial creditor, and in case we real estate agents, if we fail to deliver the flat, they can initiate CIRP against us, being a financial creditor. I hope this point is crystal clear, that any amount raised which have a commercial effect of borrowing, that will also be considered as a financial debt. Example, amount raised from the allottee under the real estate project, that is real estate allottees, right? Lastly, derivative transaction, futures, options, call option, put option, all these derivative transactions comes under financial debt. Counter indemnity obligation. What do you mean by counter indemnity obligation? Very quick example. Let's say this is company and A Limited, and this is another company B Limited, and this is bank. So this A Limited has taken 5,000 crore loans from bank, but bank was not giving loan. So this B Limited gave a guarantee to the bank that, bro, give this 5,000 crore loan to Mr. A. If A Limited does not repay, then I will repay you. So B Limited gave guarantee to bank, that if A Limited will not repay the loan, then I will repay you the loan. And on the due date, A Limited failed to repay this 5,000 crore loan. So now bank will pull the collar of this B Limited, and bank will take this payment from the B Limited. So B Limited paid 5,000 crore to bank. Now will B Limited bear all the loss? The answer is no. B Limited will recover this money from A Limited. So now this liability of A Limited to repay the 5,000 crore to B Limited is known as counter indemnity obligation. This liability of A Limited towards B Limited is known as counter indemnity obligation. So here this B Limited will also be considered as financial creditor, and this debt will be known as financial debt under counter indemnity obligation. So this is one point, that counter indemnity obligation will also come under financial debt or any other liability under guarantee. So if you have given guarantee, under that guarantee any liability arises, that will come under the financial debt. So are you crystal clear with this, that all these debts are known as financial debt? And if you owe financial debt, then the other person will be known as financial creditor. Financial creditor means a person to whom you owe financial debt. So I hope that this definition of financial creditor, financial debt is crystal clear to all of you. This is already done. What do you mean by IRP cost? Simply all the cost incurred during the CIRP process, like cost of raising interim finance, fees of insolvency professional, cost incurred in running the business, and cost incurred by the government or any other cost. All this cost will come under the insolvency cost, CIRP cost. Now the most important CIRP process, very important. Come to now full focus. I want your full attention. If you're watching this, then I want your full attention right now, because this process is very important. CIRP process, corporate insolvency resolution process, CIRP. As you all know, there are three parties. This company who's taking the loan is corporate debtor. However, the one who's giving the loan, creditor, is of two types. Some are some are financial creditor and some are operational creditor. Some are financial creditor and some are operational creditor. And if the company has taken the loan and company defaults in the repayment of loan, and that loan amount is at least 1 crore, then we can apply to NCLT. We can just go to NCLT and we can cry in front of NCLT that NCLT, this company is not paying my money, this company is not repaying my money, please declare the insolvency of this company. So basically, when does the insolvency start? There is a limit given that the amount of default is minimum 1 crore. Earlier it was 1 lakh, now it is increased to 1 crore after the COVID. So now this limit is increased 1 crore. So if this corporate debtor is not able to repay the creditors and the amount of default is minimum 1 crore, then we can apply to NCLT for starting the CIRP process, and here NCLT is the adjudicating authority. So we can apply to the adjudicating authority. Now the question is, who can apply to NCLT? This FC can also apply to NCLT, this OC can also apply to NCLT, and even a corporate debtor can also apply to NCLT. Now let's say we are making an application to NCLT that NCLT please start the insolvency process. Along with that application, we have to attach certain documents. Basically, we have to give the record of default, that yes, the default exists. We have to give the proof of default, and along with that, whenever the insolvency starts, the company does not do management, because whenever the insolvency starts, there is a person, government official appointed. Basically, insolvency professional is appointed, and you know what? Who can become insolvency professional? Us, CA, CS, CMA. We can become insolvency professional. Obviously, for that certain eligibility criteria is there. So we are the professional. We are appointed in a company to carry out the insolvency process. So there is as soon as the CIRP start, insolvency professional, basically us like company secretaries, chartered accountants, insolvency professionals are appointed to take over the management of the company and to manage the company, because the promoters are not able to manage the company in a very well manner, then only a company goes into insolvency. So here we have to recommend the name of the IP as the IRP. IP means insolvency professional. There are a lot of insolvency professional. Let's say Mr. X, Mr. Y, Mr. Z, Mr. Lot of insolvency professional. You have to select one की आप किसको appoint करना चाहते हैं. You want to appoint which insolvency professional. So you have to recommend the name of the IP who shall become the IRP. IRP means interim resolution professional, who will be resolution professional for this particular company. And if FC is making application, he is also required to mention the name of IP. If company is making application, then company is also required to name the IP. However, if OC is making the application, then OCs are not mandatorily required to recommend the name of the IP. So name of the IP should be recommended by FC also, by company also, but not required in case OC is making the application. Now NCLT adjudicating authority is been given 14 days. In 14 days, either it will accept or reject. In case when it will accept or reject, see, basically NCLT will check three things. That yes, default is there now. If there is default, then only I will start CIRP. So number one, default should be complete. Default should exist. Number two, application should be complete. NCLT will start the CIRP only if my application is complete. And next three, no disciplinary action pending against resolution professional. The name, let's say we recommended the name of Vinod Kothari. Vinod Kothari is the insolvency professional. So we recommended the name of Mr. Vinod Kothari sir to be appointed as the resolution professional of this particular company. So government will check no disciplinary action is pending against Mr. Vinod Kothari now, then only he can be appointed as a resolution professional. Means he has not done any fraud now, no action is pending against her. So if no disciplinary is pending against the RP, if all the three conditions is fulfilled, then NCLT will accept the application, and as soon as the NCLT accept the application, CIRP starts. When the CIRP starts? The moment AA means adjudicating authority. The moment AA accept the application, CIRP start. However, if there is any deficiency in the application, then NCLT will reject your application. Like when will NCLT reject? If there is no default, NCLT will reject. Or application is incomplete, NCLT will reject. Or there is a disciplinary action pending against resolution professional. In that case, NCLT will reject the application. And if the application is rejected, If the application is incomplete, then NCLT will give you a notice and ask you to rectify your defect within 7 days. It will ask you to rectify your defect and submit the application again within 7 days. So this is the basic point. Now, no matter whether we are accepting or rejecting, in that case, we have to inform both the parties, the creditors and the corporate debtor. Now the NCLT will either accept or reject. When the NCLT will accept or reject, NCLT will inform both the parties within 7 days. Within 7 days, NCLT will inform. So I hope till here you are crystal clear. And after that, the moment CIRP starts, IRP is appointed. The moment CIRP starts, that IRP whose name was recommended, now that IRP is appointed. And now IRP has 4 duties. What are the 4 duties? Number 1, IRP will make a public announcement within 3 days of his appointment. So as soon as he get appointed, within 3 days of his appointment, he will make a public announcement that, bro, CIRP of this company has started. So we will make a public announcement that CIRP of this company has started. And don't you think that now insolvency has started, we have to check how many assets are there, we have to check how many liabilities or claims are there. So we have, in order to value the assets, how many assets are there, we have to appoint a registered valuer, minimum 2 registered valuer, and what they will do, they will value the corporate debtor, which means they will value the assets of the corporate debtor. So now what we have to do, the IRP has to appoint the registered valuer to carry out the valuation of corporate debtor. And after that, he will invite the claims from the creditors. What do you mean by inviting claims? Basically, we will ask all the creditors, okay, किसको किसको पैसे लेना है, who all have to recover money from this corporate debtor, who all have to recover money from this corporate debtor, just submit your claim, okay, you have to take 1 crore, okay, you have to take 10 crore, okay, you have to recover 500 crore. So we will invite claim from all the creditors, we will invite claim, and then the people will submit their claims. After people will submit their claim, the IRP will verify, IRP will check that every claim is valid now, every claim is okay now, and just a minute. Okay, so what we will do, what IRP will do, IRP will invite claims from all the creditors and they will submit the claim. What will be the last date of the submission of claim? The last date of the submission of the claim will be within 40 days from the date of his appointment. So the day on which the IRP is appointed, he has to invite the claims, and within 14 days people have to submit the claim. They will be given 14 days to submit the claim, and once they have submitted their claim, IRP will check, IRP will verify if this is okay, if this is not okay, and IRP will verify within 7 days of receipt of claim. As soon as all the claims are received within 7 days, we will verify all the claim and then we will make a list of creditors. What IRP will do, IRP will make a list of creditors, and very important, within 21 days we will form a COC. What is COC? COC is Committee of Creditors. So now within 21 days IRP will form a committee of creditors. Basically, after we'll make a list of valid creditors, what we will do, we will make a committee of creditors in which will consist of financial creditors. And you know what? Now COC is everything. COC is everything. The company promoters defaulted in the payment of creditors. Now it's the creditors who will run the company. Now creditors will take over the company. Now all the decision will not be taken by the members or promoters. Now all the decisions will be taken by the COC. Now COC will have the voting powers, decision making power. Now COC will do the voting and they will decide everything. And the person who will carry out the management is IRP. So IRP is the person. Now after the company goes into insolvency, IRP is the person who carries out the management as per the orders and directions of COC. Are you getting this point? Yes. Now creditors will run the company. So now IRP will form a COC, which will be basically consist of financial creditor. And what they will do, they will appoint a final RP. See, what happens when at the initial level, we appoint only resolution professional temporarily. That's why he is known as interim resolution professional. And later on when it's time to invite the resolution plans, we appoint a final RP. So is that person different? So it's in the choice of COC. If COC wants the same person, same IRP to be appointed as final RP, then they can appoint the same person. Or if COC want that, no, this IRP is not good, we will appoint a new RP. So COC can appoint a new RP also. It's on the COC that whom to appoint. So now COC will appoint the RP with 66% voting. So now COC will appoint resolution professional with 66% voting. If 66% approval is given, then that person will be appointed as RP. RP means resolution professional. I am telling you again, either interim resolution professional can also be appointed as RP, or he should be removed and a new person can also be appointed as RP. Now what RP will do? RP will finally invite the resolution plan from the public. RP will invite the resolution plan from the public with the COC approval. And if the COC approves any resolution plan and NCLT approves, then congratulations, your company is out of CIRP. Your company is revived. However, if the resolution plan is not approved or it is failed, then the liquidation start. Are you getting this idea that in insolvency, we don't kill a company. Like we are the doctors. IBC is the doctor. So when a company is into dying, company is about to die, company is in the dying situation, we start the CIRP. CIRP is like an operation. We try to do the operation and we try to save the company. We try to make a resolution plan. Resolution plans means how to revive this company, how to bring this company back to life, how to bring this company back to normal, back to a healthy position. So this is how CIRP works. That first we try to make a resolution plan, we try to work out, we try to solve the problem so that the company comes back profitable and company gets revived. But if no resolution plan is approved, we are not able to revive the company. At last what we'll say, there is no option left. This company is not able to get revived. We are not able to revive this company. Resolution plan is not approved. Resolution plan failed. Resolution plan is rejected. So we are not able to. It's like doctor saying, we tried our best to save this person, but we are not able to. Then company will finally die, and the dying procedure of the company, the closing procedure of the company is liquidation. So CIRP is not closing procedure. In CIRP, we are not closing the company. In CIRP, we are not killing the company, or we are not dissolving the company. Instead, in CIRP, we are trying to revive back the company back to life. If CIRP does not work, if the resolution plan does not work, then the company will go into liquidation. Liquidation means final closure, final death. So this is the whole process of CIRP. Basically, what is the overall picture? The overall picture is any person can apply to financial creditor or operational creditor or corporate debtor. Any person of these three can apply to NCLT for initiation of CIRP. If the CIRP starts, two main bodies are there. One is COC, another is IRP. There is one person, IRP, basically is the insolvency professional. Yes, so he does the management work. He takes over the management from the board, he does the management work. And he forms a COC, Committee of Creditors, who are financial creditor, who become the decision making authority of this company. So now the decision making authority is COC, and COC will take the decision by doing the voting, and they will order everything to RP. Now IRP will work according to the order and instruction of COC. So these two will take over the company, IRP, that is RP, and COC, RP and COC, and they will try to invite the resolution plan, and they will try to revive the company. However, if the company is not been revived or not resolution plan not approved, in that case company goes into liquidation. So this is the basic procedure of insolvency resolution process. CIRP, resolution means to resolve, to solve the company, and to make the company debt free. The company is into debt now, that's why CIRP started. So main purpose, main logic of this CIRP is to make the company debt free and revive this company. So this is the basic plan, the basic process of CIRP resolution process. Now I told you that FC can apply to NCLT under section 7, OC can apply to NCLT under section 9, and corporate debtor can apply to NCLT under section 10. What is the application procedure? That I have already told you. But one additional point I want to tell you, that here one point is given, that if there are particular class of financial creditors, let's say there are two classes of financial creditor, unsecured creditor and secured creditor, and only a class of financial creditor are making application for initiation of CIRP. In that case, a minimum limit is given. That minimum, how many people should make application? 100 in number or 10%, whichever is lower. Okay, and same is with the case of real estate allottees. Like real estate allottees are also the financial creditor. Yes, madam. So if the real estate allottees, only the real estate allottees are making application to NCLT for the initiation of CIRP, then there is a minimum requirement that minimum 100 number or 10%, whichever is lower, should make an application for the initiation of CIRP. There is a one additional point, that in case operational creditors are making the application, in case operational creditor are making the application for the initiation of CIRP, they cannot directly make an application. First, they have to give one more opportunity to the company for making the payment. So in case it's the operational creditors who are moving towards NCLT for initiation of CIRP, then first they should make a demand notice to the company. First, they should issue a demand notice to the company demanding the payment, that bro, company, please make payment within 10 days or else I will start the CIRP. I will make application to NCLT for the initiation of CIRP. So first they have to give demand notice to the company demanding the payment within 10 days. And if within 10 days either company will not reply or company will make payment and send the payment proof either in the electronic transfer or the copy of check. So company will either send a payment proof, or company will say that there is some dispute exists, we won't make the payment. So company has to give a record of dispute exists or arbitration, record of dispute existence or arbitration. So if within 10 days company will either make payment or give record of disputes or give no reply. So in case company does not make payment, in case company does not make payment or company gives record of dispute or companies does not even reply, then COC can now apply to the NCLT for the initiation of CIRP. Now the COC can apply to the NCLT for the initiation of CIRP. So here are some additional documents given which have to be attached by the operational creditor along with the application. This process we studied now. This process is same. This process we studied now. This process is same for all. FC also, OC also, and corporate debtor also. In case of OC, there are some additional point that in case of OC will, before making the application, they will give a demand notice to the corporate debtor to demanding a payment within 10 days. And if the corporate debtor does not make payment within 10 days, then only the OC will make an application to the NCLT. And along with that application, OC have to give certain attachments, certain additional attachment. What are those attachment? Number one, madam, they have to give a copy of invoice demanding the payment. They have to give a proof that, see, we issued a demand notice. So the demand notice which you are issuing to the company, you have to give this as a proof to the NCLT that yes, you have issued a demand notice. Next is affidavit that there is no notice given by the corporate debtor relating to dispute. You have to give a affidavit to NCLT that company did not give any notice of dispute. You have to give affidavit that the company has not given any notice of dispute within 10 days, and you have to give a certificate from financial institution that no payment is received. Basically, you have to give a proof to the NCLT that, see, this person did not make my payment. You have to give a proof to NCLT about the about not receiving the payment, that the no payment has been made, and a copy of record of information utility that no payment. You have to give again and again proof of non-payment, that this must be in the record of any information utility also. Yes, so you have to give the record of information utility that no payment is received. After that, you have to give a proof confirming that no payment is received. Again, same, you have to give a proof that no payment is received. Basically, you have to give a proof that no payment is received, no demand notice is received. You have to give proof from your financial institution, also banks, and information utility also, that payment is not received. So I hope this point is crystal clear to all of you, that this whole process of CIRP is same for all. Like, even if FC is applying, even if OC is applying, or even corporate debtor is applying. However, in case the CIRP application is made by OC, operational creditor, in that case, first they will issue demand notice to the company and wait for 10 days. If even after 10 days the payment is not received, then they will make application to NCLT, and along with that application, they have to submit the proof of non-payment, proof that no notice of dispute is received, and basically they have to give proper proof that payment is not received, right? And now, third case, initiation of CIRP by corporate debtor under section 10. This person can also directly make application to NCLT for the initiation of CIRP. So basically, your corporate debtor is voluntarily saying to NCLT that, okay, I am the culprit, please take me. So here the corporate debtor himself is saying that I have done default, I am not able to pay the debt, please start my insolvency. So for this, don't you think that the owners will decide? Owners will decide. If the corporate debtor voluntarily wants to go for CIRP, the owners will decide. So that is why here we have to pass a special resolution. We have to take approval of the members, and then they can make application to the NCLT. So here one point is given. In case corporate debtor is making the application, along with that application, certain additional document they will submit, like they will submit a copy of special resolution of the shareholders, or the approval of 3/4 of the partners. In case of partnership firm, you have to take approval of 75% partners, that is 3/4 of the partners. In case of company, you have to pass the special resolution, and you have to give information relating to books of accounts and such other period as may be prescribed. Since you voluntarily, you yourself are applying for the CIRP, you have to submit your details of books of accounts and information relating to resolution professional. This, so I have already told you that you have to recommend the name of the insolvency professional as the interim resolution professional. So rest of the process is same. Here just additional documents are there which have to be submitted by the corporate debtor in order to start the CIRP under section 10 of the code. So are you able to understand till here? Are you able to understand the CIRP process till here? Okay, great. Yes, Durga Shri will provide. Okay, great. I hope till here your process is, your concept is crystal clear. After that, if I talk about the withdrawal of application, can we withdraw the application? The answer is yes, but only if 90% of the COC decides, because once the CIRP starts, is the COC who is the deciding authority. So you have to take approval of 90% of the COC to withdraw the application. And if the decision is taken, COC will do the voting. 90% of the COC says, okay, withdraw the application, then you can withdraw the application. And the basically, your resolution professional will make an application to the NCLT for the withdrawal of application, and NCLT can allow you the withdrawal of application, which means that, let's say in between of the CIRP you received all the payment. So now you want to withdraw your application. Now yes, you can do that if the 90% of the COC approves. So for withdrawal of application, you need minimum 90% of the COC's approval. Before moratorium, I want to tell you this public announcement of CIRP. This is already done. That here, if you will see this process, here I told you that as soon as the insolvency starts, as soon as the CIRP starts, this IRP make public announcement within 3 days of his appointment. So how does he make the public announcement? He makes a public announcement in that he write the name and address of the corporate debtor, that is name and address of the company whose insolvency starts, name of the authority with which the debtor is incorporated, basically that company is incorporated under which act, under which authority, like under MCA, under IRDA, under which authority. So name of the authority under which that corporate debtor is incorporated, last date of submission of claim, which should not be beyond 14 days. Details of IRP, obviously details that now the management of the company is vested with the IRP. Penalties for false or misleading claim. If you make false or misleading claim, you will be subject to penalties. Date on which the CIRP shall close, which is basically 180 days plus extension. Whatever extension you will get, 90 days plus 60 days, all that extension, right? So this is the point. And here one point is said that very easy, that if you are making the public announcement, what you will write in that public announcement: name, address of company, name of the authority under which the company is established, last date of submission of claim, penalties in case of false claim, details of IRP, and the date in which the CIRP will close, which is 180 days plus extension 90 days plus 60 days, total of 330 days, right? Now the next point, IRP, interim resolution professional. I have already told you that as soon as the CIRP starts, all the management is taken over by the IRP from the hands of directors, from the hands of promoters. So all the management is taken over by the IRP from the managers or directors of the company. And as soon as the IRP is appointed, all the powers of the board is suspended, and now everything is to be exercised by the IRP. What are the duties of IRP? This I have already told: making public announcement, inviting claim, doing the valuation of the company. And what he will do, he will constitute a COC, committee of creditors. It is done here. We will form a committee COC of creditors. And here's one point given, that the COC of first meeting of the COC should be done within the 30 days of the commencement of CIRP. So here one additional point is given, that the first meeting of COC should be done within 30 days of initiation of CIRP. The date on which the CIRP starts, within the 30 days from that date, your COC should do the first meeting. So this was all about the COC. Resolution professional, I have already told you that basically they are the insolvency professionals who are appointed to do the resolution professionals. Even you company secretaries are eligible to be registered as insolvency professional after having relevant expertise and experience. And how the resolution professional will be appointed? So resolution professional will be appointed by 66% voting of the COC, committee of creditors. Either IRP can also become RP, or any new person can also become RP. So this was all about resolution of professional. Next is committee of creditors. I have told you that what do you mean by committee of creditors? Basically, committee of creditors consists of financial creditors, and if the financial creditors are the related party of the company, then they will not have right to vote, right of representation. Why? Because they will be biased. So basically we are assuming that financial creditors are outside parties, they don't have any interest in the parties. But if those financial creditors are related party to the company, in that case they can't do voting, they can't take part in the management, they won't have any right of representation, won't have any right for the representation. And basically this COC is the decision making authority. Now everything is decided by the COC. Somewhere percentage is prescribed, like sometimes it is written you need 66% voting, sometimes it is written you need 90% voting, and if anywhere the proper voting percentage is not required, then it means that the decision of the COC will be approved if it is approved by minimum 51% of the COC. So normally percentage is given that okay, here 66% approval is required, okay, here 90% approval is required. But if anywhere percentage is not given, then the normal percentage is 51%. So here one point is given that unless the code specifies for a specific voting percentage, COCs and all other decision shall be taken by vote not less than 51% of the voting shares of the financial creditors. Now resolution plan, important. Resolution plan. I told you that we invite resolution plan. Basically in resolution plan, you know what happens? We invite people to bid for the company, to buy the company. So here we sell the company as a going concern. So basically that person buy the company and he promised to run the company and pay all the debts of the company to make the company debt free. Just now here a few months back the resolution plan of DHFL was approved, Piramal Group. So DHFL is the corporate debtor, DHFL is the company which went into insolvency, now which went into CIRP process. So now what NCLT did, appointed a resolution professional, formed a COC, committee of creditors, and then we invited people to buy. So rich people, basically all the people in made their resolution plan. They basically bid, okay, I will buy this company in 20,000 crore, okay, I will buy this company in 30,000 crore, I will buy this company in 40,000 crore. So people basically make a resolution plan, that in that resolution plan they tell you how they will pay all the creditors and how they will make a company debt free and how they will bring a company back to life. So basically people make resolution plan and they plan to buy the company. And in this resolution plan we invite any person, like any person, even you and me can apply, can make a resolution plan for purchasing any company, for reviving any company under the CIRP process. So anybody can make a resolution plan. So now what RP does, RP make public announcement, people, anybody who's interested to buy this company, anybody who's able to make a resolution plan, they can submit their resolution plan to the company. Like anybody, general offer. It's like a general offer. Anybody can buy this company. So now resolution professional will invite people to submit the resolution plan, and the people who submit the resolution plan are known as resolution applicant. The people who submit the resolution plan are known as resolution applicant. They can be anybody, like anybody, but he should not be insider, he should not be promoter. Promoter ko we will say you to stay away. Why? Because you managed company in such a good way that company went into insolvency. So we will say that you to stay away. Your work is done now. You are not able to manage the company properly. The company went into insolvency. You are not paying off your debts. So you stay away. Now the promoters cannot make resolution plan. Promoters cannot submit resolution plan. Apart from that, any person can submit the resolution plan to revive the company. So here one point is given. See here, the basically RP, resolution professional, invite the proposal from prospective resolution applicant to submit the resolution plan, and these proposals are known as resolution plan, and they can be submitted by any person. I told you now, any person can submit. Yes, any person can submit, and then COC will choose the best resolution plan by doing 66% voting. So people will submit. So let's say we receive 10 resolution plan. Now the COC will do the meeting, do the voting, and will approve one of the resolution plan with 66% voting. So this 66 this proposal is known as resolution plan, which is submitted by any person who's interested in the revival of the company, who's interested in purchasing this company. Now this resolution plan include paying off the liabilities and restart the operation over time. Obviously in this resolution plan they will tell you how they will pay off all the liabilities and how they will again start the company from zero and make it a good company, make a healthy company. So right, there is a safeguard against, very important, there is a safeguard against the defaulting promoters submitting a resolution plan, so that such defaulting promoters is not able to take over the debt free company at a lower clause by way of resolution plan. There is a safeguard provision given that the promoters, you stay away, promoters, this defaulting promoters, they cannot submit the resolution plan. Okay, this is one point. Now the resolution plan submitted, if it meets the condition, it will be placed before COC. If that resolution plan is okay, RP will submit that resolution plan in front of COC. Now COC will do the meeting, and with the 66% approval, it will approve any resolution plan, and then we will submit that resolution plan to NCLT. Now if NCLT will also approve that resolution plan, congratulations, your company is out of CIRP. Congratulations, we revived your company. Congratulations, we saved your company, we saved your company. Now your company is debt free, again back to normal, your company is out of insolvency, your company is revived, your company is again taken birth, marte marte jinda kar diya. So it was dying, we bring it back to life. So now your company is out of CIRP. As soon as the resolution plan is approved by tribunal, as soon as the resolution plan is approved by COC and then approved by tribunal, as soon as the resolution plan is approved by COC and then approved by tribunal, congratulations, the company is out of CIRP. Congratulations, the company is out of CIRP. This is the whole process of CIRP. I hope the whole process of CIRP is crystal clear to all of you. What is the time limit for completing all this process of insolvency? So basically the time limit is (180) days. There is a time limit to complete the CIRP process, and the time limit is 180 days. You have to complete your CIRP within 180 days. But madam, this is India and nobody is able to complete on time. Nobody. We need some extra time, right? Everybody needs extra time. Everything doesn't work as per plan. Sometimes your pencil breaks, or sometimes any other contingency happens. So there is a time limit of 180 days. So can we get extension? The answer is yes. In order to get the extension, we will do the voting of COC. What COC will do? COC will do voting, and if the 66% voting is in favor, if they get 66% approval, 66% approval, then what? They will ask the resolution professional to make an application to NCLT, and if NCLT approves, then NCLT can grant extension of further 90 days. Further 90 days. How many days it is? 270 days now? Yes. So here one point is given that what is the time limit for completing CIRP? 180 days, 180 days, 180 days. Remember, 180 days. However, if you want extension, can you get extension? The answer is yes. If you want extension, can you get extension? Yes. If COC does the voting and 66% approval is get the extension, 66% people say to extension, then we can apply for extension, and RP will apply to NCLT for extension, and then NCLT can give extension for maximum 90 days. So basically CIRP should complete within 270 days. However, you know what, there is another deadline given that CIRP should be completed within total of 330 days. Maximum CIRP should complete within 330 days, which means that, you know what, there is a further timeline of, we can say, 60 days extra, like for everything, paying off the debts, for completing all the CIRP process, you can get 60 days extra. However, your CIRP will ultimately, it should complete within 330 days. So basically your extension is like 180 days normal plus 90 days extension plus 60 days extra, and in total your CIRP should complete within 330 days. 330 days, it should not go beyond 330 days. Your CIRP should be completed within 330 days. I hope this point is crystal clear to all of you. Your CIRP should be completed within 330 days. What is the timeline, madam? 180 days plus 90 days extension NCLT can apply. If 66% COC is saying, then NCLT can give 90 days extension plus 60 days extra, total of 330 days. CIRP should complete within 330 days from the date of commencement. 330 days from date of commencement of CIRP. Date of commencement of CIRP. I hope this point is crystal clear to all of you. Thank you, Jignesh. Okay, come forward. There is a concept of moratorium. Moratorium means stop, everything stop. Like stop. CIRP starts, everything stop. Pause. So this is known as moratorium, very important, which says that as soon as the CIRP starts, now what you have to do, everything will be paused. Now no further case can be filed, no assets can be sold. So there is a pause, like NCLT will give you stay order. Bro, wait. CIRP is going on, you can't do anything. It's like, okay, CIRP revision is going on, stop, you can't do anything else, just focus on the class. So what is moratorium? Moratorium means as soon as the CIRP starts, everything will be stopped, everything will be paused, you can't do anything else. So here one point is given on the commencement of CIRP. As soon as the CIRP commences, the adjudicating authority means NCLT, passes the order for moratorium, declare moratorium. That means pause, everything pause. You cannot do anything else. So as soon as your CIRP commences, then NCLT will declare moratorium. सब कुछ रुक जाएगा. Yes, exactly. Right. So now basically there are 4 things given, that this 4 things will get paused. Number 1, no other legal proceeding can be initiated. Bro, if you want to file case against a company which is into insolvency, you can't. If you want to file a case against GHFL, you can't, bro, because it is into insolvency. So once the CIRP starts, you cannot initiate any new case, or you cannot continue any old case, or you cannot even continue any judgment, any execution of any court order or court judgment. So everything will be paused. Next is you cannot exercise your action of foreclosure or enforcement of your security. Let's say you have given a secured loan to the company and that company is into insolvency. Company defaulted in your payment. Can you sell that security and recover your money? The answer is no. You cannot exercise your foreclosure, your right to recover the property, or right to sell any property which is mortgaged to you. Why? Because company is into insolvency and everything will be done as per the insolvency process. So here now you can't even exercise your foreclosure right, enforcement of security interest right, any other right, because pause. Moratorium, CIRP starts. Next is recovery of any property by any owner lessor which is occupied by the company. So if let's say there is any person who has given any property on rent to the company and they cannot demand that property from the company back during the insolvency process. Why? Because company is into insolvency. So you cannot recover your property which is right now in the possession of the company. If that property is in the possession of company, although it does not belong to company, that is some other person, still you can't take back that property because company is into insolvency. So you can't recover your property if it is in the possession of the company during the CIRP. So these 3 points are in the favor of company. Like outsiders are stopped from doing this. Outsiders cannot do this. They cannot start a case against company. They cannot enforce their security against the company. They cannot demand any property from the company. So these 3 points are for the benefit of company. However, there is one point. which is for the benefit of outsider also, and which is against the company, which says that even company cannot sell any of its property, cannot transfer, dispose of, sell any of its asset, like any asset. Why? Because company is into insolvency. Now as soon as the CIRP start, everything will be decided by the COC and everything will be done by the RP. Now company cannot sell its property. So as soon as the CIRP start, the company is prohibited. Bro, you also wait. You cannot sell your property. So the company cannot transfer, alienate, dispose of, sell any of its asset as soon as the CIRP start. So these are the 4 points that company can, these four things cannot be done when the company went into insolvency, when the CIRP starts, and this is known as moratorium. The NCLT declares moratorium. However, here one point is given, very basic point, that if you are given a specific, if you are given a specific license, permit, then you can do that. Like if you have taken a specific license or permit from the government for doing any activity, then you can do that. And there's one more point given, that still you can do the supply of essential goods and service. Like you want to continue your business, you want to supply your product and services, can you do so? The answer is yes. Even during CIRP, you can continue to sell your goods and services. But here also there is one exception, that let's say you are purchasing and selling the goods and services, you are doing your normal course of business, you can do that. But if during that normal course of business you incur any further liability and you default in the payment of that liability, in that case you cannot even do this. In that case you cannot even supply the essential goods and services. So these are the basic points about the moratorium. When does moratorium end? Moratorium starts with the initiation of CIRP. When does moratorium ends? Moratorium ends till the completion of CIRP or the date of approval of resolution plan or the date of liquidation by adjudicating authority. Basically moratorium will start with CIRP and end with CIRP. It's like हम साथ जिएंगे साथ मरेंगे. So it's like moratorium will start with CIRP and it will end with CIRP. And how does CIRP end? Either the company revive or the company goes into liquidation. So either the resolution plan will be approved, then also it will come out of CIRP, or it will go into liquidation. So any of these two situations can happen. In either of these two situations, the CIRP ends. And as soon as the CIRP ends, the moratorium also ends. So moratorium starts when the CIRP starts and moratorium ends when the CIRP ends. So this was all about the CIRP process. We are done with the whole process of CIRP. We are done with insolvency process, that is CIRP process, insolvency resolution process, to revive the company back to life. CIRP, corporate insolvency resolution process. Now if you will see this chart, I have already told you that basically you have to study 5 things in this chapter: CIRP process, liquidation process, PPIRP process, fast track CIRP, and voluntary liquidation. These 5 things you have to study in this chapter. Along with that, you have to study the regulations of every process. Like for CIRP, there are also some additional regulation made, CIRP regulation. For liquidation, there is liquidation regulation. For PPIRP, there is PPIRP regulation. For fast track, there is fast track regulation. For voluntary liquidation, there is voluntary liquidation regulation. So we will study all the regulation along with that process. So what we will do, basically what will be our flow? We completed CIRP. Now we will do the CIRP regulation. After that, we will do the liquidation process, right? And after we will do the liquidation process, then we will do the liquidation regulation. Then we will do the fast track insolvency, and then we will do the fast track insolvency regulation. So we will cover the regulation together. Regulation are nothing. वैसे तो you know what? I want to tell you one thing. I want to tell you one thing, that bro, these regulations are too big. These regulations are like 50-60 pages. Your bare regulations, I'm talking about the bare act. These are too big. But your ICSI has given you a brief, just like headings, few brief topics. So you have to we have to restrict our discussion till the topics which are given in your syllabus. But these regulations are too big, like these are long 60 pages, 100 pages regulations given in your BEAR Act, in your BEAR law, and here in your syllabus everything is not given. Your ICSI has taken just some important points, just keywords. So these are already in the form of keywords given in your notes. So we will study all these regulations which are a part of your syllabus. So first, if I talk about the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, these regulations are known as IBBI, Insolvency Resolution Process for Corporate Person. We are studying corporate insolvency resolution. Regulation 2016, and basically, you know what, these regulations are not read alone. These regulations are read along with the act. Just like, you know, you have studied company law, right? In company law, there is Companies Act also, there is Companies Rules also. So what are rules? Rules you don't study separately. Rules are something which are studied in addition to the act. So rules supplement the act. दोनों को साथ साथ में पढ़ते हो. You study together act and rules because they both are read together. Similarly, here also the act and the regulations are to be read together. So what insolvency process we studied? In that insolvency process only you have to comply with some additional requirement which are mentioned in regulation. So regulation are not separate, but basically they have to read together with the act. So in that resolution process only certain additional points are given which you have to read and comply, right? So what are this additional point given in this regulation? So we will link this resolution regulations along with this process only, right? So this process we studied in the IBC code. Now the additional point which we will study in regulations, it will be in addition to this. Okay, now come here. The first point is RP. You know RP, you know this resolution professional, this resolution professional who's appointed here. Yes madam, this person who's appointed as a resolution professional, this person should be independent. He should not be related party to the company. Very basic point. So I told you now, in regulation few extra points are given with respect to this process. Number one, your RP should be independent, which means he should not be a related party. He should not be a related party. He should be independent person. Next is public announcement. Have we studied about public announcement? Yes, na ma'am. We studied this process now, that your insolvency interim resolution professional have to make public announcement, do the valuation, invite the claims, and then form a COC. So this public announcement have to be made within 3 days of his appointment. Where it is written, ma'am? It is written in regulation. However, I have taught you here only that public announcement have to be made within 3 days of his appointment. Next, madam, the last date for the submission of claim is 14 days from the date of appointment. Haven't I taught you this? Yes, I have already taught you this along with here only, that we will invite the claims. And what is the last date for the submission of claim? The last date for the submission of claim is within 14 days of his appointment. This point is also done, bro. This point is also done. The next is verification of claim. The IRP will verify all the claim within 7 days from the last date of receipt of claim and maintain a list of details. Haven't I taught you this? Yes, I have already taught you this. We will invite the claim and then we will verify all the claim. See here, we will verify all the claim within 7 days of the receipt of claim. This point is also taught to you. Now see, we have linked both the provision, the main IBC code and the regulation also. This is how you have to study it, because they cannot be read separately. They work complementary to each other. Okay, next is committee. This is important. See this is important. Committee with only operational creditor. See, sometimes happens that the company don't have financial creditor, or the company have financial creditor but financial creditor are related party. So financial creditor should not be related party now. If they are related party, they will not be able to vote. So here one point is given, that if the corporate debtor does not have either a financial debt or the financial creditor are related party, in that case the committee will consist of these 3 people. Number 1, 18 largest operational creditor by value. By value means whosoever has given largest goods on credit. So 18 largest operational creditor by value plus 1 representative of workmen and 1 representative of employee. Workmen is a narrower category, employee are the general employee. so there is a proper definition of workman given, that all the employees are not covered in the definition of workman. There is a specific criteria, okay, this person will be considered as workman, this person. So workman and employees are different. So if there is no financial debt or the financial creditors are interested, then in that case you will form a COC, committee of creditor, with this people, 18 largest creditor, operational creditor by value, one representative of a workman and one representative of employee, basically 18 plus 1 plus 1, this 20 people. Next is meeting of COC. We have already done this, that the meeting of COC should be done within 30 days, or within 30 days of the commencement of CIRP. Basically this is done. And you know what, how many people can demand a COC meeting? You know what, at least 33% of the people should demand the COC meeting. So here one point is given, that if the request is made by members of the committee representing 33% of the voting right, then only meeting will be called. So if the COC, members of COC want to call the meeting, minimum how many person should make an application? Minimum if 33%, which means 1/3. If 33% of the COC committee request to call the meeting, then the meeting will be called. For the first COC meeting, the 5 days notice should be given. However, for subsequent COC meeting, 24 hours notice should be given, and if authorized representative are also attending, then 48 hours notice should be given. Just like in Companies Act, we have studied that for general meeting you need minimum 21 clear days notice. For board meeting you need minimum 14 days notice. Similarly, there is a concept here that if you're calling a meeting, then you have to give a notice, right? How many days notice? For the first meeting you need to give a 5 days notice. For subsequent COC meeting, it's okay if you give just 24-hour notice, basically 1 day notice. However, if any authorized representative is also attending the meeting, in that case you have to give at least 48 hours notice. At least 48 hours notice. I hope this point is crystal clear to all of you. What will be the quorum? Quorum will be at least 33% of the voting right should be present, either in person or through video conferencing or through other audio-visual mode. Very easy. Yes. Appointment of registered valuer. Do you remember this process? Yes, madam. Here I told you now that we have to value the corporate debtor. We have to value the asset. Who will value the asset? For that we have to appoint the registered valuer. How many? Minimum 2. So here one point is given that you have to appoint minimum 2 registered valuer within 7 days of his appointment, but not later than 74th day from the insolvency commencement date. So basically here two deadlines are given that he should appoint the resolution professional registered valuer. So basically here I am writing, in order to carry out the valuation of corporate debtor, what you have to do? You have to appoint registered valuer. You have to appoint registered valuer within how many days? There are 2 deadlines. Within 7 days of his appointment. Within 7 days of his appointment, or another deadline is given. Another deadline is 74th day from the CIRP, from the insolvency commencement date. 47th day. Yes. Next is 47th day from commencement of CIRP, whichever is earlier. So 2 deadlines are given. So for you, which will be final deadline? For you, the final deadline will be whichever is earlier. So now what you have to do, this for doing the valuation of corporate debtor, you have to appoint a registered valuer. Within how many days? You have to appoint a registered valuer within 7 days of the appointment, or 47th day from the CIRP commencement date, whichever is earlier. This whichever is earlier is the final deadline for you for appointing the registered valuer. We are done with this. Next is, can you withdraw your application? This though we have already studied. There also it was there that if the 90% of the COC is saying, then you can withdraw application. So you can cut this point because this is repetitive. This is already covered there. Next is information memorandum. Here one point is given that since the decisions or the control of the company is taken over from the management by the resolution professional, the management of the decision or the control of the company is taken over from the management. by the by the COC, Committee of Creditor. So don't you think we have to give them details about the company, the basic details about the company? Yes. So it's the duty of resolution professional to submit a memorandum to COC, to members of a Committee of Creditors, basically to give them a brief idea about how the company works, all the details about the company. So that document is known as information memorandum. So here the resolution professional will submit the information memorandum to the members of committee within how many days? Within 2 weeks from his appointment, but not later than 54 days from the insolvency commencement date, whichever is earlier. Again, here two deadlines are given. That here one point is given, that this is resolution professional. This is resolution professional. He will submit information memorandum to committee of creditors, to member of committee of creditors within how many time? Within, there are two deadlines given: 2 week of his appointment, 2 week of his appointment, or there is another deadline, 54th day from the insolvency commencement date. 54th day from commencement of CIRP, from beginning of CIRP, commencement of CIRP, whichever is earlier. So here two deadlines are given for RP to submit information memorandum to COC. I hope this point is crystal clear to all of you. Next is invitation for expression of interest. Here now finally the RP is appointed, and now what we will do, we will invite people to submit the resolution plan. So for that we have to make invitation to the people that, bro, all of you are invited to submit the resolution plan. Whosoever is interested in purchasing the company, whosoever is interested in reviving the company, you can submit resolution plan. So we will give invitation of the expression of interest. We will give invitation, we will invite people that if you have interest in purchasing the company, if you have interest in submitting the resolution plan, then submit your interest. Basically let us know that you are interested in purchasing the company. So we are making an invitation to people to express their interest, to tell us if they are interested, so that we can make a provisional list, means a temporary list of the applicant, a temporary provisional applicant who can apply, who can submit the resolution plan. So we will make the resolution professional will publish resolution professional will do what? Publish the brief particulars for the invitation or for expression of interest in form G. There is a form given that we will make an invitation in the form G, so that if any person is interested, then they can submit their interest, they can express their interest to the RP, to the resolution professional, right? And this invitation should be done, there is again a deadline given, not later than 75th day from the insolvency commencement date from interested and eligible prospective resolution applicant to submit the resolution plan. So here a deadline is given to the resolution applicants to submit the resolution plan. What is the deadline? Here one point is given, that the resolution professional shall publish the particulars of the invitation. First, resolution professional will submit the invitation for expression of interest in form G not later than 75th date from the insolvency commencement date from interested eligible applicant to submit the resolution plan. So here one point is given, that we will ask the people, we will invite the people, and they should submit the resolution plan. They should express their interest within the period of 75th date from the commencement of insolvency. After that, request for resolution plan. Here one point is given, that now resolution professional will again issue information memorandum, evaluation matrix. Evaluation matrix means the criteria of evaluation, the criteria in which we will evaluate all the resolution plan, that which one to approve. So evaluation matrix and request for resolution plan. Now we will issue these three things within 5 days of the date of issue of provisional list. To how many people? To all the prospective resolution applicant in the provisional list. Provisional list means temporary list. So basically in the above stage we invited people to show their interest, and they showed their interest within 75 days. Now we will make a list of all the people who showed their interest as a provisional list, and If anybody's name is not included in the provisional list, then we will inform them also. So basically now we will issue information memorandum, evaluation metrics, and a request for resolution plan to all the members to all the person whose name is mentioned in the provisional list, and to every other person who is showing their interest in purchasing the company, every other person who wants to submit the resolution plan. So now we will request everybody to submit the resolution plan and a prospective resolution applicant in the final list, and after that we will make a final list of everybody who's proposing to submit the resolution plan. Will make a final list, and the prospective applicant whose name is mentioned in the final list, they may submit the resolution plan. So basically only those person whose name is mentioned in the final list, they can submit the resolution plan. Along with that resolution plan, they have to make an affidavit that it is eligible under 29A. Basically, in order to be a resolution applicant, there is some eligibility criteria given, that you should not be insolvent, you should not have been committed, you should not have been convicted for any default. You don't have to study that eligibility. That eligibility is given in section 29A. So simply you have to tell that you are eligible, and you have to tell that this resolution plan is true and correct. These few topics are extra, which has to be read along with the CIRP process, and after that voting will be done, and the COC will approve one of the resolution plan, and then we will submit to NCLT. Then NCLT will approve the resolution plan. After that the company will be out of CIRP. So this is the whole process of CIRP, corporate insolvency resolution process. Next is liquidation. See here, next is liquidation. We are done with the CIRP. Next is liquidation. What is liquidation and how does liquidation start? I have already told you that if the resolution plan does not work, we are not able to save the company. We are not able to save the company. Then finally the company dies, and that the process to close the company is the liquidation process. So there are basically three situations in which the company goes into liquidation. Number one, if the resolution plan is either not received by the NCLT, like nobody gave a resolution plan, nobody want to purchase this defaulter company. Resolution plan not received, nobody want to purchase this company. So resolution plan not received, company will go into liquidation. Or the resolution plan was received but it is rejected. COC rejected or NCLT rejected. So no resolution plan is approved. So either resolution plan is not received or rejected, then the company will go into liquidation. If COC decides to liquidate the company, if the COC, because who is the decision making authority now? COC is the decision making authority, and if the COC does voting and 66% by 66% approval they decided to liquidate the company, then RP can make an application to NCLT, and then NCLT will give the liquidation order. Lastly, if corporate debtor contravene the resolution plan was approved, but the corporate debtor contravened that resolution plan. So in either of these three situations, the company will go into liquidation. Now when the company goes into liquidation, what is the process? What is the liquidation process? Firstly, I am telling you a broad process, that in the liquidation what happens, all the assets are sold and all the liabilities are paid back. So all the assets are sold, whatever money is recovered by selling the asset, that from that money we repay all our liabilities. So this is the basic procedure. So what is the liquidation process? What we do, first we appoint a liquidator, and you know liquidator is again one of the insolvency professional is appointed as the liquidator. Okay, so if you want to be appointed as a liquidator, you should be insolvency professional registered with IBBI. So first what we do, as soon as the liquidation process starts, we appoint a liquidator and we create a liquidation estate and hold as a fiduciary. What do you mean by liquidation estate? Liquidation estates means all the property of that company which is to be sold. So now all the property, all the assets of that company which is into liquidation, which is dying, so all the assets of that company which can be sold, money can be utilized, those property are known as liquidation estate which is to be sold, and they are submitted, they are held by the liquidator. Liquidator takes over the management of the company from the hands of board or from the hands of resolution professional. He takes the management of the company and he creates a liquidation estate and hold it as a fiduciary. Fiduciary means a trust relationship. Why? Because it's the liquidator who does the selling work, selling the assets and paying off the liabilities. And after that, once he create the liquidation asset, so he got to know, okay, I have all these properties to sell and recover money. Then he will invite claim from people. He will invite claim from creditors that, okay, I have this asset, whosoever want money, just submit your claim so that I will distribute this assets or I will sell this assets, and whatever money will be realized, I will distribute this money to you all. So now liquidator will invite claim from the people, from the creditors, and we should invite claim within 30 days of the commencement of liquidation. And what we will do, it might be possible that some people submit the false claim. So if your claim is okay, valid, we will accept or we will reject. So liquidator can either accept or reject. In case we accept the claim, then we will distribute them money as per waterfall arrangement. What is waterfall arrangement? Very pretty, very pretty concept. Waterfall arrangement, pretty bold, very good concept. We will study tomorrow. So as soon as if we accept anyone's claim, then we will distribute them their claim as per the waterfall arrangement. And if we reject their claim, then the creditor can appeal to NCLT within 14 days of the decision. He can go cry in front of NCLT that he rejected my application. And in both the cases, we have to communicate within 7 days of the acceptance or rejecting. And what liquidator will do? Liquidator will sell all the assets. He will sell all the assets and he will pay off all the liabilities. Basically, we have to pay off all the liabilities within 90 days. So what liquidator will do? Sell all the asset, and whatever money is recovered, we will pay all the liabilities. And when all the assets are paid, when all the assets are sold, all the liabilities are paid, everything is done. So now is company dead? No, we have to wait for the final order of NCLT. When all the assets are sold, all the liabilities are paid, then we go to NCLT and we apply to NCLT that NCLT काम तमाम हो गया, declare this company as dead. So now we will apply to NCLT and NCLT will give a final dissolution order. And when NCLT will give a final dissolution order, that's when the company will die. When NCLT gives a dissolution order, that's when a company finally dies. A company is finally dead when the NCLT gives dissolution order, and that we have to communicate to the respective authority within 7 days. So this is the basic liquidation process explained in brief. So this is the liquidation process explained in as brief manner as possible. I hope this is crystal clear to all of you. If you see book, this is same, this is covered, okay, this is covered, yes. This is covered. This is also covered. Liquidation estate, I told you that the liquidator will create a liquidation estate from the assets of corporate debtor, and basically there are some assets which are excluded. Like if there is any asset which is of no value or whose value is nominal or negligible, so we will exclude that asset. What assets are excluded, you don't have to study that. Basically one point is given that some assets are excluded from the liquidation estate. This is done, this is done, this is done. You know what? Everything is covered in this chart. Everything is covered, and we are done with the liquidation process through this beautiful chart. Okay, the whole process of liquidation is covered here. This is the very easy laddu liquidation process. Now, you know what? If you will come to this chart, bro, if you will come to this chart, I want to tell you that we are done with CIRP process. We are done with CIRP regulations. Now we have done the liquidation process. Now liquidation regulations are very chindi, very easy. So we are done with this. Now we will do the liquidation regulation. So now it's basically in the last part of your chapter, liquidation regulation. Here it is. IBPI Liquidation Regulation 2016. Read very carefully. More than half of the points are same, just like CIRP regulations. More than half of the points are similar to CIRP regulations. So just read it carefully. Applicability, obviously this is applicable. These regulations are applicable to liquidation process. Next is contribution to liquidation cost. This point is a bit technical. What does this point means? This point means that since you didn't approve any resolution plan or the resolution plan did not work, now the company went into liquidation. Now the company is into liquidation. Yes, madam, now the company is into liquidation. So in this case, the liquidator will be appointed. Yes. And you have to pay a fees to the liquidator. Yes. So where will the money come? From where will the money come to pay fees to a liquidator? Ma'am, from the liquidation estate, from the liquid assets of the company. Yes. But what if the liquid assets of the company are not sufficient to pay the fees of insolvency professional, to pay the fees of liquidator? In that case, liquidator will ask that money from the financial creditors for the time being in proportion of the value that is owed by them. So here one point is given that where the COC does not approve the resolution plan. COC is what? Financial creditors. Financial creditor did not approve the resolution plan, and because of them the company goes into liquidation. Why? Because they didn't approve any resolution plan. In that case, the liquidator will call upon the financial creditors to contribute the liquidation cost. Whatever cost or expenses will be incurred during liquidation, that has to be paid by financial creditor. Why? Because they didn't approve the resolution plan. So as of now, for the time being, they have to bear this. And lastly, from the estate of the company, that will be repaid to this financial creditors. But as of now, since they did not approve the resolution plan, it's because of them the company goes into insolvency, the company goes into liquidation. So now if the liquid assets of the company are not sufficient to pay the liquidation cost, in that case, that liquidation cost has to be provided by the financial creditor. So now liquidator will call upon the financial creditor to contribute to this liquidation cost, to contribute to the excess of liquidation cost over the liquid asset of the company in proportion of the debt owed by to them by the corporate debtor. I hope this point is crystal clear to all of you. Next is compromise arrangement. Very small point. If any compromise arrangement is going on, then it should be completed within 90 days from the order of liquidation. See, sometimes it can happen that this company is liquidating and some of this company is the company is getting merged to any other company. So there might be some compromise arrangement, merger, amalgamation, etc. So in that case, it should be completed within 90 days. Eligibility of appointment of liquidator. The liquidator shall not be a related party. Liquidator shall not be a related party to the corporate debtor. You know what? This point is same as CIRP regulation. In CIRP regulation also we studied that the resolution professional should not be related party. Here also it is same, that the liquidator should not be a related party. Next is reporting. Here some reporting requirement are there. Since we are closing the company, we are selling all the asset, so we have to prepare a report. So liquidator have to do what? Liquidator have to prepare preliminary report, asset memorandum, progress report, sales report, minutes, etc., final report. So basically these are the documents relating to sales of the asset, paying liabilities. So we have to do all this reporting. And apart from this, liquidator can also appoint some professional to take some advice from them. So if we need expert advice and etc., we can appoint any professional, but he should not be related party. Not related party. He should not be related party to the corporate debtor in the last 5 years. Lastly, public announcement. Obviously, here also we have to make a public announcement within 5 days of the appointment. So as soon as the liquidator is appointed, just like CIRP, in CIRP also we studied that as soon as the resolution professional is appointed, he makes a public announcement. Here also, as soon as the liquidator is appointed, he makes a public announcement that bro, liquidation starts. Bro, liquidation of this company is started. So basically we have to inform the public that public, liquidation, this company is into liquidation. So we have to make a public announcement within 5 days of the appointment, and we have to make a list of stakeholders and file that list of stakeholder with the adjudicating authority within 45 days from the last date of receipt the claim. See, basically we receive the claim that whosoever is entitled to recover the money from this company. So after receiving the claim, we have to prepare a list of stakeholders, and that list we have to submit within 45 days to the NCLT. Do you remember this process? Yes, madam. So here you know now that we have to invite the claims within 30 days of the liquidation commencement. So after the claims are received, after the claims are received, what we will do, we will make a list of stakeholders and submit this list to NCLT within 45 days from the last date of receipt of claim. Within 45 days from last date of receipt of claim. Right? Yes, madam. Next is we have to form a committee. The name of the committee is Stakeholders Consultation Committee. Here we have to form a committee, Stakeholder Consultation Committee, within 60 days from the liquidation commencement date, based on the list of stakeholders prepared to advise on the matters relating to sale. Basically all the people who are claiming money under the liquidation, they are known as stakeholders. Okay, and we will invite a claim from all the stakeholders. As soon as all the stakeholders submit their claim, we will make a list of all the stakeholders, and after we make a list of stakeholder, we can also make a separate committee like stakeholders committee, stakeholders consultation committee. In that committee, basically we will choose members from the list of stakeholder. So from the list of stakeholder, we can make a committee, stakeholder consultation committee, where from that committee, the purpose of forming this committee is to take their advice, is to take their consultation with respect to the liquidation process, with respect to the selling of asset and paying off all the liabilities. So I hope you are getting this point, that we will invite claim from stakeholder. After that, we'll make a list of stakeholder, and then we can also we should form the stakeholder consultation committee from that list of stakeholder to advise us with respect to this liquidation process. What is the last date for forming a stakeholder committee? The last date is 60 days from the liquidation commencement. 60 days from the liquidation commencement. After that, we will sell all the asset, and there are a separate method of sale given, that we can sell on standalone basis, or as a slump sale, or asset collectively, or in parcels, or a corporate debtor as a going concern, or done. So basically standalone means single asset. Slump sale means all the asset together without individually valuing the asset. Asset collectively means grouping the asset, like 2-3 asset together. Parcel means basically when we sell any immovable property like land, etc., we decide the area particular, like this much square feet. So when we sell a particular part of the land by deciding this much, okay, this much area, that is known as sale by parcel. Next is corporate debtor as a going concern. When we sell the company as a going concern to another party, like whole company, then that is known as selling whole corporate debtor as a going concern. Somebody is taking over the whole company as a going concern. So these are the 5 methods of selling the assets. Mode of sale is usually auction. Auction means the auction is done, people come and bid, okay, I will buy for 10 crores, I will buy for 1000 crore, 2000 crore, 30,000 crore. So basically, normally the sale is done through auction. Can we do a private sale? Yes. Private sale cannot be done. Normally auction is done, but private sale can be done only in 3 cases. Number 1, if that asset is perishable. Perishable means it will get destroyed, it will damage. Or next is, it is likely to deteriorate its significant value. If we don't sell it immediately, its value will decrease. Then we can do the private sale. Or lastly, if asset is sold at a higher price than the reserve price failed at auction. We tried to sell it at auction, but it failed to get sold at auction. And even the price which was decided at the auction, we are selling it at a higher price than this, then we can make a private sale. So and lastly, if the prior permission of NCLT is given. So normally assets are sold through auction, private sale is not allowed. However, private sale can be done in these 4 cases: if asset is perishable, or if the value of asset will decrease, or NCLT allows, or if it is sold at a price higher than the price reserved at the failed auction. So I hope this mode of sale is clear to you. Next is, after selling all the asset, we will recover all the money and distribute them to the person who was claiming, distribute them to all the creditors, to all the stakeholders. Within how many days? Within 90 days from the receipt of amount. Within 90 days of the receipt. The day we sold the asset, the day we received all the amount, within 90 days from that date, we have to pay all the amount back to the all the stakeholders. How we will pay? As per the waterfall arrangement. What is waterfall arrangement? We will study tomorrow. And here one point is given that the total liquidation process should complete within 1 year. The day when the liquidation starts, it should complete within 1 year. So liquidation should complete within 1 year. Lastly, we have to prepare a report. Obviously, when the liquidation is done, the liquidator has to prepare a report, and the liquidator will make proper accounts. Like we are selling asset, paying liabilities, obviously we have to maintain proper books of accounts, and we have to make a final report. Then after all the assets are sold, after all the liabilities are paid back, the liquidator will prepare a final report and submit it to the NCLT, and NCLT, if satisfied, yes, all the assets are sold, all the liabilities are paid back, then NCLT will give the final order of dissolution, and the date when NCLT gives order of dissolution, the company is dead. And NCLT is dead. So this was all about the liquidation process. I hope that these 2 processes are crystal clear to all of you. These 2 processes are crystal clear to all of you. CIRP process along with CIRP regulation, liquidation process along with liquidation regulation. I hope that these four process are crystal clear to all of you. With this, we are ending our today's class here only. Tomorrow we will complete this CIRP chapter by revising these 6 processes, like basically PPIRP along with PPIRP regulations, fast track insolvency along with fast track regulations, voluntary liquidation along with voluntary liquidation regulation, and waterfall arrangement. So tomorrow we'll complete this chapter. I hope that this revision class is beneficial for you, and in case of any doubt, please do let me know. I'll surely clear your doubt. It might take some time, but I'll surely clear your doubts. With this, we are ending our today's session. I'll see you in the company law revision at 7 p.m. Today, we are going to revise our very important related party transaction 186 to 195 sections. Right. So, I'll see you in the company law revision, and tomorrow we will continue this CIRP revision. Okay. I hope all your studies are going well, and just keep a positive belief in yourself that yes, we can do it, we will do it, and just keep on working hard without caring about the result, and you will definitely do good in your exams. Okay. With this, we are ending our today's session. I'll see you at the 7 p.m. Take care. Bye bye.